Basically saying that women, they'll look at being with a guy or having a husband as some status symbol.
Right, something like a goal, something worth spending time on.
Right, but then when guys try to approach them, at first, in general, to holler at them when they try to get a date, women are standoffish, so it just doesn't make sense.
It makes sense to me.
How?
It makes sense to me because, remember, the woman wants to find out, is this a man that has all the qualities of a life partner?
How's she going to find it out?
By talking to him and getting to know him.
But how's she going to talk and get to know him if a guy walks up to her and says, "How you doing?" and she ignores him?
And Jump.
I'm thinking this through. Because this happens a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, ignoring God. Well, this is the thing.
Yeah.
This is the thing. If you're trying to weed out, if you're trying to not, I'm putting this in quotes, waste your time on men that will not be husband material, then, and the majority of men you meet will not be husband material. I mean, that's true, right?
Yeah.
The majority of men you meet will actually be people that are not going to.
But that's the thing. The guys that you meet, if you're not meeting them, how do you even give them a chance to find out that they're not husband material? Or for the woman to find out that they're not husband material? I
feel like it really is a goal for women to find somebody to settle down with, and then and yet knowing that not every guy that speaks to her is going to be that person. Clearly, there's probably, you probably speak to somebody who could be that person for you maybe once every 4 years or something, or find somebody like that, right? So I feel like the idea is it's a lot of emotional work for a woman to go through the initial talking to somebody and getting to know him and starting to date him. That stuff is very emotionally draining and trying for women.
Involved.
And involved. And so more often than not, I see women saying, "Oh, he's just not, he wouldn't be right for me," rather than giving him the time and saying maybe he would. Maybe just because he doesn't fulfill every item on my list of what I need in a man, he might actually turn out to be somebody lovely for me to be with, right? And I think the reason that this happens is because it's just so much emotional work to start relationships that it's preferable, or more often women will, rather than say, okay, the relationship I'm in isn't ideal, I like this guy, but this and this, that it's easier to just kind of stay with him and say, okay, it's not ideal, but I love him and we can work things out, and I'm closer to being married if I stay here with this guy that's not perfect than if I let go of him and I go through all of the bullshit of trying to date again.
Yeah.
Right? And part of the bullshit of trying to date again is trying not to talk to guys who are a waste of your time. Again, I'm putting that in quotes. Because guys that just want to have sex with you are not, if that's really all they want, is just the sex, then they're not, what you consider husband material.
Yeah, but
right? So you spend all your time trying to figure out what is the secret. How do I know if all he wants is sex?
That's why the females are supposed to be way more receptive to interactions with males, because there are going to be times where all you want to do is have sex too. So you meet the guys, you have sex with them. If a connection goes down, then fine. Then you make that connection. And if just sex happens, don't get all mad that he didn't call you. Just appreciate the sex and move on to the next guy. Because everybody don't have time for the bullshit.
But unfortunately, the sex and the it not working out stuff is way too.
That's the problem.
Wait, I want to
you-
just finish
no,
my-
once- all right.
Here, I'll just say it because
ahead.
you know what I'm going to say, but not everybody does. I'm saying that it not working out is way more intimidating, way more work than so many women even want to put in.
But that's my thing. The whole notion of it not working out is, to me, something that is born and based in a whole negative state of mind that keeps us all back from experiencing what we should be experiencing. Because just because you had sex with this one person and he didn't call you the next day doesn't mean it didn't work out. It didn't work out. It just meant he served his purpose in your life for that moment last night. And that's it. On to the next.
And that's good, and that's part of your life.
Exactly.
And
It
you
shouldn't
now
be-
have that experience.
You
in
now
your
have
life.
that experience.
But
and it shouldn't be bad.
also, I think that another thing is that
So true.
Also, I think another thing is that the reason why you have a whole bunch of women who, let's say, in their late 30s, early 40s, who are single, who aren't getting married, is because, like we were saying before, they're not receptive to guys in the first place from when they were younger. And it could be from fear,
Right, having been burned.
Right,
Remember talking about
but
that
this is what I'm
lady?
saying. It's ignorance on the woman's part. Like, the thing is, if more women understood how men are, and they understood how
Yeah.
that men operate, because like you were saying, a guy, you might say, what if this guy just wants sex? Sometimes the guy just wants sex at first, and then he has sex with you, and he ends up saying, damn, I like this chick, I want to see her again.
And you find
And
out
then,
about him also.
and then he ends up wanting to be with you. You end up liking each other. Then he end up wanting to be your husband, and that all happened from him just wanting to fuck you. But just because you were scared of, he just wants to fuck me, you
Right.
you
and you saw
dismissed
it,
him.
and you saw it as something negative.
Exactly. So
But
something
I
negative, you
guess
dismissed him, and
what
then
I-
now you're 40 and nobody wants to get with you because
Because you
your time is up.
don't look that way anymore at all.
Exactly.
And I guess that was my concern, Hashim, about the lady we were talking to the other night.
Yeah.
And this was really just in self-defense that she, having been burned in a previous marriage, was very quick to write guys off and be like, I don't think it will work out with him because of this and this. And there were several of the guys that she is currently dating that you and I were like, no, don't get rid of him yet. Like,
Yeah.
there are so many things you like about this man.
Yeah.
This one thing that happened that you consider a red flag, it's not necessarily a red flag.
Yeah.
And don't be so quick to decide that he's no longer who you want.
Yeah. But you know what it is too? I think the two main things that keep women single and and deters them from like having an actual like marriage, if that's what they want, is their ignorance about men. And damn, what was the other thing I was gonna say? Yeah, the ignorance about men, and basically like their fear of what can happen.
Getting hurt.
But this is the thing. And the third thing I think is that the fact that women don't think they need to put in any effort. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So these three things, I totally agree. That as a woman, I feel like it's important for me to understand men better, regardless of whether I'm single or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then also, what were you saying? Fear. Right. So I feel like the fear part is.
I think that's the shit that fucks everything up the
It
most.
really does, and that's such a real thing. And I think that what's important about that, and this is something that you've said a lot, Mr. Lucario, is that that the fear is coming from you, and what you need to do is think about how can I be strong in myself and realize, like Pavian was just saying, it's a good, important experience in my life. It's not something to be afraid of.
Yeah.
If I have sex with this man and I don't end up marrying him in 2 years, it's not really a bad thing. I got some sex. Right?
So-
and like, worse things have happened.
But this is the thing that's see, women want. Because just like what you're saying, that the marriage thing is a status thing,
Yeah.
and it makes a woman feel like, oh, well, I'm better, or I'm a better woman, or I'm desirable, or I mean something, and all that other shit.
Yeah.
So this is the reason why a lot of women say, well, I just don't want sex. I want the guy to
I want to marry,
be with me, right? And there's nothing wrong with wanting that. Like that's all cool, but this is the thing that women have to ask themselves: what do I need to do in order to get that? And that's what they don't.
Right, and it's those three things you were talking about.
Yeah.
It's the understanding men and
putting in effort and not having fear.
I can make the analogy of a college education.
Yeah.
Because you say to yourself, I want to be a cook. Mm-hmm. So you go to college saying, I want a master's or a bachelor's or whatever in culinary arts.
Yeah.
But you have to take a math class. You have to take a public speaking class.
Exactly.
You have to take algebra.
Shit,
You have to take a computer class. Mm-hmm. You want a husband. But sometimes you gotta have sex with a couple of dudes to find out who you are, to make you a well-rounded person. So when you get that degree, you're a well-rounded person. But everybody wants to jump straight from A to Z without dealing with all the other letters. You have to deal with them, and you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid.
And that's part of the work that
goes into it. That goes into it.
The other piece of this work that I feel like a lot of women don't really consider is I want to say being more receptive to men and calling them back.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because there's this funny idea about seeming too desperate.
And that's just bullshit. That's just more fear-based rhetoric.
Yeah, but I feel like there's definitely a point where like you've already called him 3 times and he didn't pick up. Like,
of course. So leave it alone.
Give it a break. But on the other hand, if you're like, I had a really great date with this guy 4 days ago, 5 days ago, he hasn't called me. 6 days ago, he hasn't called me. I'm really sad. I'm just going to sit here and be sad. You can be more proactive. It's not acting desperate if you call and say, hey, I had a really nice time. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the understanding.
Because that girl who was like, fuck being desperate, I'm going to call this guy. She's the one that's going to get the man that you wanted. Right?
Well, you remember what happened to my sister, right? With that guy she met, the guy she went on a date with, and she was like, he was so nice.
Yeah.
We really hit it off. And then I was like, so have you called him? And she's like, no, I can't call him.
Yeah.
I can't call him. He said he'd give me a call, and he hasn't called me, so, I'm just feeling sad about it. And I was like, come on, you really could just call him. And I was like, he's probably dating other girls, and if you want to see him again, you might just have to call.
Yeah.
And she just insisted that women don't call, and told me then, like, 2 weeks later that he called her finally and said, hey, I'm kind of seeing someone else now, and it was nice meeting you.
And I bet you if she had called, she probably would have given herself a fighting chance.
Exactly.
And that was my thought. But she just refused because she was like, no, that's acting desperate, and I don't want to start a relationship off that way. And I don't know.
This brings me to my next point.
Okay.
Biologically speaking, every last one of y'all are desperate. Every last female is desperate by biology. There's no excuses in this. You have a limited time to produce children. Okay, to validate your existence as a woman, as the female species, your time to validate your existence runs out.
That.
I'm just calling it what it is. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just calling it what it is. Your time to show this earth that you have something to add to it on a genetic level.
Have children? Because I feel like a lot of women.
No, because I don't know what it means to you on a personal level, so I have to say it in the most general way possible.
That doesn't sound general. That sounds very specific.
I'm just dealing with genetics. I'm just dealing with genetics.
Of women.
I'm just dealing with genetics.
But if we're talking about what women want, and I know a lot of women would like to have children, you could just call it that.
It's something that's leading up to my point.
Sorry, I'm interrupting.
So what I'm saying is, your time runs out at some point. To have kids, to validate your existence, whatever you want to call it, your time runs out. Yeah. Therefore, I don't see why it's always up to the guy to be the one who has to make the first move all the time. As far as I know, there's women out there should be saying hello to men just as much as, if not more. Basically, because your looks don't last. Your looks don't last, right? In society, a man. I mean, as long as he doesn't, become obese or whatever, like let himself go completely. usually a man becomes more handsome, more distinguished, based on the standards of society.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
His job status.
Now, a female, your looks go. And with that,
and that's what's important.
And with that, your ability to produce children goes.
And on top of that, like you said, that means that their time is running up.
Right,
and
so
men, we don't care. We can have kids till whenever.
We can have kids till we die.
And we don't have that desire to just have kids as much as women. So
there's no biological clock ticking for us.
Can we just say that we are all agreeing that women, there's nothing wrong with being proactive.
They need to be.
We're saying that there's nothing wrong, but we're also saying that they really should be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you shouldn't. I mean, ain't nobody saying you need to be a hoe and be running outside smiling at every fucking guy you see.
Mm-hmm.
Of course not. But take just a little bit of proactivity. You see a guy smiling at you, you catch eye contact or something. Don't be afraid to say hi.
Exactly.
And if a guy does approach you, you don't necessarily need to be all, standoffish or stuck up about it. You see what I'm saying? See, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of variables because especially we live in New York City, so there's a lot of weirdos. There's a lot of things going on. I understand.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, overall. Like how your friend didn't want to call that guy back. Like how we had a girl that sent in an email the other day talking about she dated a guy,
dude and he didn't call her back for 5 days.
For 5 days.
And she wants to know what to do.
He texted her. And she was on her way to a party. He texted her 5 days ago. She was on her way to a party. And she never texted him back. And then she's asking, how come he didn't text me again?
And
you see what I'm saying?
No, because the thing is this.
Can you enlighten us? Why didn't he?
Why didn't he?
Because
that was his attempt.
He already attempted to text her.
That was his attempt. He doesn't have time.
She
has to get back.
Because the tables are so one-sided.
Yeah.
He made his attempt. He's out there trying to make other attempts because the arena is so one-sided.
Yeah.
He can't waste his time trying to get her attention. He has to find other girls because the girls are not doing or saying anything.
And this is what I said about putting in effort. This is the thing. Women will say, well, how come he didn't call me back? And I've been waiting and we went out. How come he didn't call me back? You're not putting in effort to show that you like him.
That you're
interested.
Yeah.
You think it's like women think that, oh, well, the guy's just supposed to like me. And I'm like, okay, well, he's supposed to like you, but why does he need to like you? What are you doing to be likable?
Yeah, exactly. And that's
what are you doing to be likable?
That's another thing. That's another thing. A lot of women don't realize that just because you're a woman and you have a vagina doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. It really doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean anything how?
No, because there are a lot of females out there that they consider the fact that they have a vagina that's it right there. Like that's all I really need to be desirable to any man.
Exactly.
In order to
they think that's their effort.
That's their effort. I was born a woman and this is my struggle and he must respect that and put me on a pedestal and come find me.
Or I've heard
that's
women say
true.
Or I've heard women say, well, I get dressed and I look pretty for the
that's
dates.
Not true.
And that they think that's their effort.
The end of
that's
what
not true.
Yeah, they think that's it. They think all they need to do is get there, be
so
pretty.
What else do they need to do, Mr. Lothario?
They need to be a person that is likable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And also be assertive.
And let's look at this marriage thing. Mm-hmm. If you really want to be married, if you really want to be a man's woman, you need to understand the dynamics of all those things. Mm-hmm. You understand? You have to understand, what you have to give, and then as well as what you're willing to receive from a man. Mm-hmm. And you have to have an idea of what that man is based on the woman that you are. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Because in my book, I'm looking for a woman who, if she wants to have a career, fine. But like I said before, I'm looking for a woman who can keep a house, who can support me emotionally, so I can support her
financially
in other ways. Yeah, financially and emotionally too. But as the man, providing for her, making sure everything is taken care of, and all she has to worry about is making sure my kids come up right, and she takes care of me as a man. Now that's just me,
and that's part of what you look for in a.
That's part of what I look for in a woman. Now you could be a career woman too, but you still have to have that mind state. You understand what I'm saying? You still have to have the mind state.
Understanding men is that often what they're looking for in a good woman is not necessarily that she's successful in
Career-wise.
Yeah, we don't give a shit about that. Like that.
So
I mean,
what
not like we like that if you're doing something, but that's not a.
So help us out. You're saying that for a man, first comes that a woman is attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Second, that she has a good attitude.
Yes.
Third, that she's willing to be your woman and take care of your house.
A nurturer,
and your
yes.
family.
And just in general, like I would say, like women have to realize that they have to be the type of woman that a man sees as someone they feel, and that they feel is irreplaceable. Like they see her and they say, "Damn, she's so like awesome." That I gotta fuck with her, because this is what a guy is thinking. Usually guys aren't thinking about you as their girl or their wife when they first meet you. They're just like, "Oh, you look good, you got fat ass, I might want to hit this," or she seemed cool, I'll kick it with her here and there. So the thing is that when you really gotta do it is when a dude is chilling with you and he says to himself, "Damn, why am I thinking about making this girl my girl? Why am I thinking about he's like, because he doesn't want to do that. Initially he doesn't want to do that. But
doesn't want to do
you're
that.
so fucking awesome that he's fighting with himself like, damn,
but
you have
the ability to strike him
exactly to make him say, damn, I'm about to.
It's so important to understand the other gender. I feel like
exactly
this is like hitting me so hard right now because it's so different. Like a woman, like the first thing she's thinking about is not the first thing a man's thinking about.
Exactly, and that's a good point.
It's so different.
That's a good point.
Our problem as people is that we project.
Yeah.
Like in order to understand another person, we project how we're feeling and our own emotions.
It was just like, remember
onto that other person. We make assumptions about what the other person is feeling or what the other person is wanting in the situation. And what's important is to hear out that men and women in general don't look for the same exact thing. There are similarities. Yeah. But just to understand that there are important differences, and I'm not saying that and I feel like this becomes difficult for women who are like who want to say, I'm an independent woman and feminism is an important part of my life and I don't want to be any man's bitch because it can be confusing to say, okay, but men and women are different, and just because a man says he wants me to be like a good woman and take care of his house and his family, it's not, how do I say this? It's like, it's not
oppressive.
Yeah, it shouldn't be looked at as oppressive. I guess that's what I'm thinking.
Can we look at history for a second? Okay. I just want to point out that back in the day when things weren't as civilized, right? A female had no choice because the female is naturally smaller and weaker than the man, right? Naturally. Now, of course, you have some, small, scrawny ass men who are just as weak as the women in general, whatever, physically.
Right, but you're saying in general.
But in general, what would happen is the strongest man would choose his female, and she had nothing to say about that. But in today's society, we have. She
had nothing to say about
nothing.
Really?
Nothing. I'm talking about
You're talking about history.
I'm talking about caveman day. I'm talking about before there was money.
Society.
That's what I'm talking about. Before there was all these things, because the only reason, let's get this straight. The only reason why women create that whole independent female argument is to pacify, or let me see, what's the word I'm looking for? It's to create a place of comfort in their own mind if they can't find a man.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, being an independent woman is not about pacifying not being able to find a man.
Give me this. Take away money from the equation and tell me where the independent woman would be.
What?
Take away money from the equation.
Where she would be?
Like, what does that mean to be independent women? If there's no
take away money from the equation. Just remove money.
Right.
And I'm talking about to the point where, because all these politicians and lawmakers and everything, if there wasn't no money, they really wouldn't care. So you can even remove the freaking Constitution. Remove money. Remove all of these things that quote unquote make us a civilization. And where would the independent woman be? Unless she was Xena the Warrior Princess, where would she be?
Like basically, we're saying that.
I don't understand what you're
this is what we're
asking me.
saying.
But can I just say that my understanding of being an independent woman, a strong woman, is being assertive and being able to say, this is who I am, this is what I'm comfortable with, this is what I want in my life. And being able to say, it's not okay for you to treat me like, you know, a piece of, you know, a piece of property, because I'm not. I'm a person, and I have my own feelings and my own dreams and my own aspirations. And to be able to say that, that's my understanding of what being an independent woman is. Right.
Yeah, but that's not what
that I'm not dependent on someone else. Someone else doesn't make me who I am. Someone else is like saying, oh, I'm a worthy woman to be married. I feel like it does need to. I think that that's something that women do need to maintain, because otherwise, all of your basically a woman. It means that every time a woman gets divorced, then something happens in her relationship. Her man cheats on her, or leaves her, or whatever it is, that she's basically ready to commit suicide.
No, but see,
and I think that women need that self-assurance. I think that it's just so important for women to feel independent and strong as individuals.
But where do you get that?
This is what I wanted to say about that. The reason why we talk about the whole money thing is because when women say I'm a strong independent woman, I'm trying to explain this to you.
Okay.
That they say that, oh, well, I have my own money, I have my own place, I don't need a man to do anything for me. Yeah. But the thing is, the point of saying I'm an independent woman is ridiculous because right, men and women are dependent on each other. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's no independent man, there's no independent woman. We depend on each other for everything. So the thing is that when you say the whole independent woman, like he was saying, where women will use it as like, even if it's not consciously, it's a subconscious thing like, well, you know, I don't need a man, but they're saying I don't need a man. The reason is they're saying is that because they can't get a man, and the reason why they can't get a man is because they're caught in the cycle of this whole independent woman thing, which is a farce anyway. No. What you were saying is not technically about independent women. It's about being a person who has value and who brings value to the table. Do you understand what I'm saying? When women generally talk about independent women, they're talking about, oh, well, I don't need a man, and I don't need this and I don't need that because I got this and I got that and whatever. You understand what I'm saying? That's what they talk about. Now, before you turn off this video, I want you to do two quick things. One, I want you to click the link below and send me your questions. If you have any questions on dating and relationships, I'll make a video about it. And two, I want you to click the link under that to get my free audio program, 7 highly effective steps for finding and keeping a man. And I'll talk to you guys later. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone.